Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, Ronaldo Brown. Transfer window's over, obviously. No midfield signing. Have a quick chat about how we thought the window went. Did it meet your expectations? All that sort of stuff. And then get involved in the chat, in the comments and all that. And we'll figure out where we're going to go from here.
So are you launching your transfer window review then?
What do you mean? I thought that's what this was.
Yeah, you said you wanted to do a little review piece, innit, on the window.
All right, well, what's this?
Because this is just talking about the fact we hadn't signed a midfield and everyone kind of threw the toys out the pram about it.
I don't think everyone did.
I think most people have. And also there's a whole thing that someone sent me and then it went viral a little bit, was the list since 2012.
You sent me that, didn't you?
Every signing that United have made in midfield, and it's not good viewing.
What was the red and blue?
I have no idea what that colourway thing was about. I had the same question, but it didn't make any sense. But apparently, it could have went further back to 2010, 2011 because the midfield issue still stemmed from then. Obviously, this is going back a ways, especially for me, to the point where Sir Alex Ferguson had to ask Scholes to come out of retirement. So this is like a 15-year issue where United's midfield recruitment has been poor, and people want to know whether there's some sort of is there some sort of synergy between that and how poor United have been? Because I still think it's always going to be the most important area of a football team.
Well, what was the transformative signing 2007, 2006, when we actually figured it out and got back going again? Michael Carrick. That was what managed to turn what was a team that had Jemba and Kleberson centre mid into one that actually looked like it could do a bit. Even though you still had the likes of Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes was going through his blurred vision sort of era at the time. But it wasn't until you signed Michael Carrick and you had someone that was able to start week in, week out. I think midfield's a mad important position. You can't think of a great United side without a great midfield.
You can't think of a great team in general without a great midfield.
But then I go, well, can you think of a great team that didn't have a great defence?
You could always do the whole the what about type of thing, but it's just more about the recruitment strategy in it, and people don't necessarily say it's just the midfield as a be all and end all. They talk about the spine, don't they? Like you've said, so you need an elite centre half, an elite midfielder,
someone who can score,
and an elite forward, and the keeper. When you've got that spine of a team.
What about this Liverpool team, or last year's Liverpool team?
What was theirs? Theirs was obviously Alisson, Van Dijk.
The midfield three, though.
Midfield three is good, though. It's a good midfield three. Gravenberch had his breakout season. I think he almost got into team of the season. So it's got him, and then what the other midfielders? McAllister, Szoboszlai. They're decent players. Do you know what I mean? But
arguably just decent. Certainly not what you'd call cities with Rodri, De Bruyne. Or even going back earlier, you see David Silvers and stuff like that. In more recent times, the teams that's been winning the Premier League has had pretty legit midfields.
But it's still above average, though, in the midfield. Not like it's poor.
I would say it is above average, yes.
Yes.
But it's not world class.
No. I wouldn't say so. You know what Liverpool fans are like. They'll argue that Gravenberch is...
I'm sure they've already got him slated as being the best ever.
Yeah, they have been doing that for the past 18 months when he's kind of played well for him. But... The fact of the matter is that people are saying the midfield's been pushed down the line. It's something that we're probably going to address next summer. I feel like I've heard that for a couple windows.
The pressing need was up front, though.
Yeah.
You had Sancho needed to go, Anthony needing to go. Maybe, because I think you probably could have not signed Mbuemo.
Nah, not for me. No, that's my guy.
I don't disagree. But if they'd have said our front line next season is going to be Ahmad, Sesko, Cunha, that's passable. With Xerxes, Mount, Bruno, etc. as your backups, that's passable. And put that 60 million into a centre mid like a Wharton, you're probably a better team, right?
Possibly, yeah. Could say the same for Cunha.
Yeah.
But obviously Cunha played on a side that didn't have a player that was playing well there in Ahmad, so you could probably argue that. But Was there enough scope for, especially with the outgoings that eventually materialised, and United coming out saying that PSR was fine and there was more money in the bank that United were letting on? Could we have still tried to sign a little market opportunity midfield that wouldn't have hampered you enough budget-wise going into next summer?
Laurie's suggesting that it was a 9 or a 6, not both.
And he went Sesko, obviously Højlund. This is another thing. So obviously we can moan. I've obviously moaned about the recruitment and the way United have neglected midfield for years and the issue that's caused, because it's the engine room and it's an important area. But it's like almost like cascade effect, domino recruitment of failures. So United have to keep buying forwards and buying strikers, and the same way they keep having to buy defenders, but especially in forward areas, because they keep buying the wrong ones.
Yep.
They're either buying the wrong ones that flop, or they're buying ones that are too old or at the back end of the twilight years of the career, so they don't have to replace. So it's short term anyway, so they don't have to replace in a couple of years, and that's like obviously Cavani, Falcao, Zlatan.
If next summer they brought in a 34-year-old centre forward, as backup, that's fine, because you're assuming Sesko's still your guy, but maybe that other forward comes in and takes the pressure off him and plays 20% of the game, so he gets a night off, and that elongates his longevity. Yeah. That would be fine. But yeah, And I think kind of what's happened with the midfield, I spoke on this yesterday or today, it might have been today, I don't know. I've done so many videos recently, I don't know what day it is. Our first choice was Baleba. We inquired, we got told something insane or not for sale, just straight up, we ain't selling him. Pull any number you want, we ain't selling him. If that's the case, and we'd already shot our load a little bit on the forward line, maybe for once, and I'm not saying, only hindsight is going to tell us what the right thing to do was. Only hindsight. Like, we can all be greedy and go, just sign everyone. Like, we see what Liverpool have done this year, and managers are going to want it, fans are going to want it. The football side of the club has to balance, paying bills as well as just signing everyone. Unfortunately, you can't just sign everyone as much as we'd all want to. Was there a loan option? Maybe. But I'm wondering if, for once, actually the right thing to do was to wait, rather than spend money on. And
it's a gamble, though, isn't it?
It is a gamble,
but so's buying someone.
Yeah,
but
and getting someone in on loan or buying your second choice rather than waiting for your first choice. If we decided that Baleba is our perfect person for that system, and they've almost give Amorim all season to get everything else in place ready for him, which I don't know if they've done. Does him arriving next year and him being the right guy, which, by the way, could still be wrong, even if they think he's the right guy, is that what they've maybe done?
That's thing for me is 1 year, 12 months is a long time in football.
Hell of a long time.
And I think a lot, when people say, oh, we'll just wait till next summer, so much can happen between that time that it's difficult to plan that way. Do you know what I mean? I know sometimes you got to plan for long term in a sense, but you are playing with fire a little bit, because you don't know whether the player that you're eyeing up can end up going elsewhere,
get injured,
form dips, go off the boil.
Yeah,
you could have 2 or 3 signings that you've made in forward areas that don't end up pulling up trees and they look poor. So then next season comes around and you're like, shit, we bought a striker last year. Yeah, we're going to have to buy one again now, because that's what's happened a lot as well.
You could have a serious injury to one of the people that's young that you think was going to be a regular starter. There's a lot that could happen, yeah, for sure. And it is a gamble. And there's no two ways around it. But I'm just wondering, for once, rather than settling, because maybe that's what we've done too much of in the past. We've settled, we've gone for an older striker thinking we'll do this and we'll do that next year. Or whatever, or you get an Anthony in because you couldn't sign whoever you wanted, or you get a Wan-Bissaka in because you couldn't get who you wanted, and you end up paying a lot of money for him anyway, and then you can't shift them on, you're stuck with them, and you end up not getting the one that you wanted in the first place.
Ironically, this is what's happened with
so many of our players.
With obviously, we're talking about how much we needed in the midfielder this summer. It's what we've just said about the whole, when you recruit, it's not just about neglect, as we've said, abandoned. It's about recruiting the right players as well, because we did go and buy for €50 million a midfielder last summer in Ugarte, and then it's turned out that obviously he's got a few shortcomings. I think United still need another midfielder. It's not just about necessarily him, and and there's parts of his game that probably United feel like they can get from elsewhere.
Well, we spent
You know what I
70
mean?
million
So-
on Casemiro as a panic buy.
Yeah.
He was never going to be a long-term option. You was never going to get any money back for him because of his age when we signed him. So that was a 70 million pound signing, which if you'd have invested that into someone, was that the summer Declan Rice went to Thingy, or was it the summer after?
I'm not sure. It
was only last summer
was a
that he
summer
went.
that we was chasing Frankie de Jong the whole summer.
Yeah, I think if you'd have thrown 70 at West Ham, you might have actually got Declan Rice in that summer.
And I think we've known, well, before Arsenal for a few years, Declan Rice was very, very, apparently open to being United player.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk that he was proper pitching for that.
Yeah. Which we still got that. We still got that. What do you call it? That pull.
United,
as the young people to call it.
Snyder Marks says with a super chat says rebuilds can't be done in one window. Last season was the back line. This season the front line. Next season should be the midfield with Casemiro, Bruno coming off the books. We really need goals, and it seems to be addressed.
That's not the type of recruitment that I necessarily agree with when people frame it that way. You don't have to target one position per window. You can almost balance it out on each. Do you know what I mean? As I said, it is very risk-based recruitment anyway, because we have reshaped the forward line, but I feel like the forward line is an area that United have invested heavily in the past 10 years as opposed to midfield. And it's not necessarily about just money spent, it's about who they've spent it on, because a lot of the foot, like Sancho, and then even you could put Mount in that, but Mount's obviously had an alright start to the season.
Could have got him free though.
Yes, could have got him for free. You got the likes of Anthony, Højlund, and then you go back to the short-term recruitments that were never going to be there long anyway, so you were always going to have to reinvest when it comes to Cavani and Zlatan Ibrahimovic and obviously Lukaku. It's so for
Lukaku
me,
was signed at a good age.
He signed at a good age, and then obviously he had a really good first season, had a second season dip, and then was canned.
Got stuck straight into the waffles, and then got about 2 stone overweight, and then had to go to Italy. And but that's another thing. You see, United's nutrition department getting absolutely slated by him when he went to Italy, and he was like, "I came here," and they went, "You're on a diet," and then they took all the timber off him, and you think, why is nobody at United doing that? Why is someone not at United out there smacking chips out of people's hands?
Because not everyone reacts the same way. For example, Eden Hazard was a bit tubby his whole Chelsea career. Then he go to Real Madrid and they said, "You're going on a..."
Yeah, that's true.
And it threw him off. Yeah. Is it weird that it's some people suit certain...
That's got to be an outlier though. Everyone else must have gone the other way.
You know, like when he... medically, when you get some people that might eat sweets every day and then once they stop, they break out in rashes and all sorts, because it's almost like what you...
There's any changes in your hormones and levels of this, that and the other, and can affect you in mad ways. Eden Hazard might be the only example of a player whose diet got clean and got worse. Yeah,
it could have been that, and he could have just got comfortable and older, innit?
Could have been. It could have been the environment. It could have been the role he was asked. He might have been asked to do a bit more defensive work. He might have got allowed to cheat a little bit more at Chelsea, especially as he was getting older. He was a serious player, wasn't he? He was a serious problem as well.
Yeah. There's always that massive lingering debate between that Chelsea and Liverpool fans have about all time between Hazard and Salah, because Salah's the peak efficiency,
just
game
goals,
winner,
just
goal scorer, but he's not exactly the prettiest to watch.
And mad effective.
Then you got Hazard, who's just a beautiful footballer. Yeah. Just you watch him and rah, I wish I could play like that. But he doesn't necessarily have the...
Who do you reckon has more fun playing? He's in Hazard all day, right?
Yes. And Salah would be pissed if he doesn't score us. You can tell that. Because watched him on the weekend, he was bobbins, man. But you can tell they almost play... They're playing with 10 men with him, and it's just if he does a final action, great. If he doesn't, he's a net negative, and that's harsh to say. But
let's have a look at that super chat, please, Declan. Is there any more that we've missed, by the way? It says, "I'm Amorim in." Don't start a sentence like that, because that's such a weird thing to be on about our manager. But he needs to decide who to build his team around. Does he? A couple of class players is all it takes. The rest will start falling into place. I don't know if you necessarily need to think about building a team around. And ultimately, I think that's something that they've got to do as a management team. I think him, Wilcox, etc. They all need to come and think, who are they going to do this with? Who are they going to do that with? Who's the sort of signings that they go all in on? I did see another chat. or another message in the chat earlier which said to close the gap you might need some generational 16, 17-year-olds that save you all that money by just being a first team player. Do that, go straight in and do something. And you're right, but like there's a reason they're so rare. They're so hard to find. You know, it is when you get a Greenwood or somebody like that come through, you're like, oh, we got one, because they're incredibly rare. You know, it was a literal roll of the dice what we did with the class of '92. You know, the reason it's got a brand around it and the reason the Busby Babes had a brand around them was because it was so rare. Typically, you get one come through, and that's amazing.
Yeah, but that's now been seeped into United's tradition, really, and it's obviously a way of there's a massive type of like connection that the fan base do have through academy players as well, through homegrown talent when they do shine for the football club. But because now you're looking at it, Mainoo's the only academy player on the squad left, and he's kind of really on the fringes, and people are concerned about whether that record of consistent matches of an academy player being in the squad, whether that's going to end or not. I don't think it will, because I think Mainoo's going to have opportunities now. Definitely, he should anyway, because the midfield is a problem. It will be a problem this season. I think it's only the only thing that United are going to get away with is there's no European games. There's not that many midweek games, and it's once a week. So they can, if it was one of them where they had to balance 8 to 12 European games as well, I think it'll be a bit of a problem.
I think Casemiro could be really good for us this year. I think he can handle one game a week, and his class will show. I still think it's going to take 4 or 5 or 6 weeks for that front line to kind of come in. Just let me get that last super chat first.
Okay.
So Matt G says, we couldn't do it all if we'd not signed a goalkeeper or a striker. Fans would be up in arms over that. Got a feeling Baleba might happen in January to beat the summer auction. I wouldn't be upset, and I don't understand why we don't line deals up that soon anyway. If you, let's say Baleba is our perfect choice, and we've gone in, we've spoke to Brighton now, and they've gone, absolutely not. Why not go back in January and be like, listen, we're coming back in for Baleba in the summer. Let's not make a saga out of this, and we can keep this on the low. But let's do the deal now.
I don't think it happens in January, because I've seen that they've just loaned out Matt O'Reilly, which is a very strange choice because he's one of their better players in midfield. I think Brighton have been really strange with the way they've recruited and operated this summer, especially when you see their starting lineups. It looks really random, but doesn't look like a squad that's received about 500 mil from Chelsea in the last 12 months, by the way. But because Matt O'Reilly's gone on loan, I don't see him then for the whole season. I don't see them then selling in January. And
no, I'm not saying buy him in January. I'm saying do the deal in January for the 1st of June. Just get it dealt with.
But then are you concerned of Baleba then playing kind of half-assed for the rest of the season? Because there's already concerns about him doing that anyway. There's been 3 games. He's not played well at all. You watch him play and he looks like his head's away.
That's when a good manager though sits him down in it and says, listen, you've got your move now. Leave on a high here and show all them at Old Trafford what they're getting. That's where a good manager turns it around and does whatever. I'm sure be a pro. Isn't it?
No, I do agree. But sorry, it's just popped into my head now, and I did want to, because I know you kind of defend Onana a bit. What do you think about? Have you seen the report?
He's mental. Yes, have I seen the report? Yeah,
I forgot, and I couldn't wait to ask you about it on here. I was like, so if you don't know, can you explain to the people what you've seen about Onana and probably why Ruben Amorim's had the hump with him since the start of the season? Because it was a bit weird.
It makes sense now. It makes sense now. Yeah, I get it.
Because you could tell in his presses when he's asked about Onana, you could tell that
he's seen his arse with him.
He's seen his arse with him,
and it was like, hang on, there wasn't. I didn't think his performances warranted the
Bayern Day. I'm playing him. Yeah.
The absolute canning that he'd had from the gaffer, and certainly Bayern Day weren't pulling up the trees to make me think that he's overtook him. So it was like, have they fell out on some degree? What has happened? So yeah, I saw this today. Who reported it? Was it Laurie?
Yes, Laurie.
So he messaged me yesterday to ask more about what the gaffer had said. And I tried to ring him back. He must have been balls deep writing this article, so he didn't answer. I said, I can't text you. It's nearly a full video I did about it to explain it. Should have just sent him the link, shouldn't I? So yeah, Laurie said, which I know that he'll have done the work on, so I can imagine that this absolutely happened, but I haven't spoke to him to ask him. So if I do speak to him tonight, I'll actually ask him. What he said was, at the end of the season, was it the end of the season?
Oh yeah, in the summer,
yeah.
basically.
Onana's gone and gone. So, we've had a 25% wage cut because of the Champions League, which I was a big part of. Can I have a pay rise to cover up the 25% that we've lost? What do you reckon Amorim threw at him?
He's probably...
I think I'd have took a shoe off and launched it at him.
He was probably so baffled that Onana's had the audacity to go and ask the club to renew his contract for better terms because of the 25% not qualifying Champions League. So he's gone and said, I want a new contract with obviously a pay rise and a better wage to cover it. And usually players do that when they're established for a while, they're playing really well and the club's playing well. That is the complete opposite of reading a room doing that. Do you know what I mean? And he's really gone after putting in the season of performances he had. I know Steve's downplayed it a little bit, but he's made quite a lot of catastrophic mistakes and he's not started the season that well when he's played. His Grimsby game didn't do many favours as well. But to have the audacity to go, I want a new contract with a pay rise because we've been knocked out of the Champions League and I've had a 25% cut. I don't know. That had to be agent-led. That has to be some sort of delusion. I'm not sure what made him think he could ask that.
There was only two ways that this went down. One way was Rumour Amorim sat there in silence like this, trying to process if he's on a wind-up or MUTV.
Yeah. Laurie said he was furious, wasn't he?
Yeah, or he immediately took off a shoe and threw it at him. There's no in between here. He was either shocked into silence or he threw something at him. But he immediately just decided he's getting a Garnacho treatment.
So when you see to start the season when Onana's not been playing and has gone, he's playing Bayern and
he sort of touched on it again ahead of the Fulham game, didn't he?
He said,
and I went, he's made this worse here. So at the start of the season, he plays Bayern Day and he says, Onana's not had a chance to play yet. And you go, cool. And then for the Fulham game, I'm pretty sure this is the way it went down. For the Fulham game, he goes, nah, I've dropped him. And you go, oh. Yes. You've made a mountain out of a molehill now because you could have just said, he's still not had a chance to play yet.
And after Arsenal, everyone was saying to him because of the mistake, why did you play Bayern Day? Why haven't you playing? And he goes, I'm playing Bayern Day because basically saying it's nothing to do with Onana being injured. He said, I'm picking Bayern Day because I think Bayern Day is my number one. I think he deserved to play. And he seemed very on the defensive about especially when Onana's name was coming up. And it seemed, now it makes sense. He's seen his arse with him. He's seen his arse with him because of that. Do you know what I mean? And Laurie's confirmed that Amorim was furious at Onana asking for a contract renewal with better terms this summer. For what? Don't know why he's done that. But Amorim's rightfully pissed. So that's why he's not really been in the fold.
How does that go down in the changing room? So Onana walks back into the changing room and sits down. I don't know who he sits next to. Let's say it's Mazraoui and he goes, where have you been? He went, just been to see the gaffer. All right, what for? I just asked him for a new contract. What? What did he say? You threw a shoe at me.
But you do know his entourage and his agent would have pushed him to do that as well, though.
Probably, yeah. And I actually think from reading how I read it, he's the one that's actually walked in and asked. So it's not come through the agent, which I think makes it worse. Because if it's an agent that's come and done it, you can almost dismiss it because that's just agents. But when the player himself, got 2 minutes, boss. Oh, what?
This is the same guy that
get out, you.
Isn't this the same guy that badmouthed Leon and then made a mistake straight away to concede?
Yeah. Decision making's not stacking up here, is it?
I don't know, man. You get players that are performing extremely well or really well for a season, and they don't really just go in and be like, "Oh, can I have a pay rise?" Some of them, and I just feel like I just don't understand how he has the audacity to have done that. Unbelievable stuff.
Audacity is the move.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Maybe it is the right move to move him on. Maybe that's why Leman's got accelerated up the list, and perhaps he's going to find himself as United's first choice now because of that. And
Yeah. So Ross Murphy saying if Onana said that
he needs to go Saudi.
If Onana said that to Woodward, Woodward would have given him a contract. I don't even think Woodward would have given him a contract if he said that with the performance.
Oh, everyone got a contract. Phil Jones hadn't even come to Carrington for about 25 months and got a contract.
There's always some players that are kind of just like. What do you reckon Phil Jones was on his like final contract? It surely would have decreased over time.
I bet it shocked you. I bet it'd be 100 grand.
Yeah, probably. Obviously it would have been the Woodward era, but Luke Shaw should be on quite a lot because he was on big money as soon as he came. Was he 19? Broke in at Southampton, 17-year-old. I think he came to United at 19, possibly.
I've been 18.
18, 19, and apparently his first contract, it could be wrong,
Fat.
was like 120. Was it 180k a week, people saying? I'm pretty sure it was 120.
10 years ago.
120k was like Luke Shaw's first contract when he came as an 18, 19-year-old. And it was big. And people think that, I don't know if it's unfair, but people wondered whether that was to do with that big money United moved across the country so soon, contribute.
The transfer fee also going to dictate. You can't sign someone, especially then. 30 million was a lot of money then. That wasn't like the 30 million now, which is your backup dancer. Like 30 million was first team player money. Manchester United signed you for 30 million 10 years ago. Your wage is going to be commensurate to that. You can't sign someone for relatively big money and put them on a low wage. You're going to have to multiply their wages.
Because it's like Lenny Yoro. Lenny Yoro's on 115 as an 18-year-old. Obviously, we had to fight off Real Madrid, so he has that leverage. I think we had to pay Lille. We paid Lille quite a bit more than anyone else would have paid for. But this is what I mean. Paying the type of fee for Lenny Yoro, which was an overpay at the time. He had 1 year left. For a young, up-and-coming top talent, but obviously still you're not quite sure what you are going to get. Was a risk, but you don't talk about it when the player ends up good. Because Lenny Yoro now, it's going to look like a bargain down the line because he's already class at 19, and as a centre half, sky's the limit.
What was Rio 21 when we signed him? If he has a career like Rio does at United, then no one, even if you paid 100 million for him, no one will talk about it. You know, the drama that you could have, although he's coming on like a third of what Sancho was on, so or a bit less. The problem is that when it's time to renew his contract, his agent's rubbing his hands together because you'd be talking doubles, but you have to leave yourself room for him to grow into it. So I don't know if you try and steer him down the mad bonuses angle rather than basic, because before you know it, 5 or 6 years, he could be on like 400 grand a week. Because 5 or 6 years, you're probably looking at 2 or 3 renewals.
You don't get 2, 3 renewals in 5 or 6 years. When one contract will be 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but they do not get anywhere near the end of that. 18 months in, they'll be renewing that.
Where?
If they've had a good couple of seasons, he gets player of the year, something like that. Agents in the next. Look at fucking Onana.
2 years.
Onana was here 2 years and had a shit season and went and knocked on a door. Like, it happens.
Depends though. It could be just a 20k increase on an annual.
Nah, I don't think so. I think it'd be 50 plus.
Well, obviously Ineos have reset that regime, knowing it a little bit.
Well, yeah, and they've got to be seen as being quite harsh. You might end up losing like a Lenny Yoro to a Real Madrid in a few years' time because you have to be seen to be like, we can't pay you 300 grand a week at 21, mate.
This is the issue that we have.
Yeah.
So if Lenny Yoro's, you're going to feel pressured to almost give him a new contract.
Or like a PSG when someone's on $1 million a week.
Because PSG and Real Madrid or Barca could knock on a door in a few years for Lenny Yoro, and then it's like, if United are still hovering around 10th, 8th place, not really challenging, just about trying to get Champions League football, looking like a bit of a mess still, which hopefully we're not, that's when you're going to start struggling to keep players like Lenny Yoro and you have him.
Liam now with a super chat says, do I think results would have been worse if we listened to Ashworth and got Southgate off Frank? I think Frank's a good manager. Southgate I don't think is a good manager. And I think the atmosphere at Old Trafford would have been fucking awful if you'd have got Southgate.
Yes. Also, Thomas Frank's going to Spurs where there's a little bit less pressure. So, because for Thomas Frank is a really good manager, but there's still always that thing in my head where I'm not sure how, if managers are almost survivable at the way United currently are. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Spurs feels like a bit of an easy job for him to take.
1,000,000%.
But also you do think that Spurs just have that kind of like dark cloud curse over him where there's only so much.
Seems like it, doesn't it?
There's only so much success you could really have at Spurs.
Matt says Lenny issue could be Real Madrid tell him to run down a contract, then we don't sell him. Imagining that happened with Ronaldo in 2009. And that's why you do see people going in. They don't wait until you're in your last year to renew it. And you do go back in after a couple of years and you keep renewing. I think it was Rio that said it. It wasn't like they would, you might have a 5-year deal, but you're renewing that 2 years in every single time. So like you're not getting to the end of any of those. And you're constantly renegotiating all the different loyalty bonuses that are within those. And like, it's nuts when you get into it.
Yep.
Keller with a super chat there says 100% with you both. We have signed midfielders, but we are old or not worked out. Matt, Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, Herrera, Fellaini, Pogba, Donny, Bruno, Ericsson, Huddleston, Mount, Casemiro. Yeah, but that's over like 10 years. We signed Juan Mata in 2013, mate.
And that's not exactly a great list, is the point. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of half the point with it. So, I don't know. I just think next season we might sign 2 midfielders, in all honesty, and it probably will be very much needed. And then it's who knows what happens. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo, hopefully he kicks on. Casemiro will probably be out the door. Bruno might be out the door. This is what's going to be interesting in the next 2 years.
You could have a complete chop like we've just done with the attack, where Højlund, Anthony, Sancho, Rashford have all just gone bosh in one window. You could have the same in the midfield. You could say, all right, Kobe, you want to go? Bye. Bruno, you want to go? Bye. We're cashing on you. Casemiro, it's the end of your time. Bye. Ugarte, bye. Like you could clear all the 4 that we've got out now and bring 3 in like that and maybe like Kone, if he gets over his injury that he's just got, maybe he ends up on the cusp of first team, or Collier comes back from loan and he's played a little bit or something along those lines. But yeah, you could easily see a complete
Collier will be
flip.
Sold. I think he'll be sold, Collier.
Yeah, I think so as well. I don't think it's first team. Lauren says, lads, thoughts on Glasner as a prospect if things end up unravelling? Well, I'm going to do a video this week comparing his system and Amorim's, because I think there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences, and I would like to know more about it myself as well. So just out of like I did with the
it's a good video, that
with the guy that just took over at Morecambe, where it was kind of like, this is interesting to me. I almost don't care if you lot like it. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. I actually ended up getting a pretty good response.
I'd 100% click on. I'd 100% click on a video of comparing the two, because it is a talking point. It's actually quite interesting.
Yeah, and like literally, sometimes I just see something and I go, there's loads of things that I will read or watch, and I'll read it and watch it and I'll move on. And there's some stuff where I go, I think this makes a pretty good video. Like I did with the Morecambe guy. I honestly thought I was going to bomb in terms of views. So thank you guys for actually tuning in. And
I got some private messages actually telling me to tell you to thanks for the vid. A couple of people from the Seat community, etc.
Started well, hasn't it?
Yeah, so they really enjoyed the video.
So yeah, that's if I see stuff like that, and maybe that's what we need to do, is we need to just make content that we'd watch between us, and then I guess there'd be enough of you like that also want to watch it. The morning vids are going down like an absolute charm. But you see the comments on this morning?
Yeah, exactly. Someone asked me if I'm going to go on them.
I don't think so.
That's
I can tell you right now, I don't think so.
I know, especially now I'm walking a bit.
You're struggling a little, aren't you, after this
so,
week? Super chat there from Patik says there might be a scenario next summer that both Bruno and Casemiro move to Saudi. Ugarte becomes part of the yeah, well, sorry, we just covered that without you actually saying.
I don't think Ugarte will be a bomb squadded.
No, I think he could just take a move down.
I think I've said, not particularly a big fan of him. I don't think he's completely horrendous. I think he's had some really bad games. I think he's got serviceable. I think he could be serviceable as a squad player.
Yeah,
and people think that's going to sound mad from me, because people think I despise the guy, which is not true. I just don't think he's starter quality for what we'd want in the midfield, to be honest with you. But I still think he could be a serviceable squad player if we buy over 2 midfielders. Yeah.
Yep. Righty then. Cheers everyone for tuning in as always. Prem says Onana at Paddock FC. Our keeper's class.
I'll take him. I'll take him.
You take him over Flo? Oh, by the way, listen.
Flo's a top player. But I don't think I've not played with a goalkeeper in my lifetime that was normal, you know.
No, they're all not.
Yeah, it's kind of goes part and parcel.
Tom Eaton might be the most normal goalkeeper I've ever come across.
Yes, true.
So there's something going on in the first team chat today, and it's cracked me up all day. Genuinely, I'm having such a good time with it. It is not Florin's birthday. Have you seen this? What's going on in the group chat today? Everybody's wishing him happy birthday, and he is not reacting well. My fucking birthday 3 months ago, wanker. Right? He is not reacting well. So what I will say is,
you won't be able to
go and wish Florin happy birthday. Right, his Instagram, I'm going to read it out for you, is GK_FLOR1N. That's GK_FL. Do you know what? Make it easier. I'll share one of his posts and put happy birthday. Just go and comment happy birthday on it, because he's losing his fucking mind, and I think that's really funny. But yeah, our goalkeeper's class. I wouldn't want to upset him. So, yeah. But let's go and wish him happy birthday and actually upset him. All right?
Yes.
Right, nice one, everybody. Cheers, everyone, for tuning in. I'll be back again in the morning. I might even do another long walk tomorrow because it's Wednesday, and I might just... It's last week of summer holiday, so I might do something with the girls. But cheers, everyone, for all the comments. I'm going to try and reply to as many as I can on the morning chats. I do try and reply to them, but it's one of them. Cheers, everyone. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.